everyone, welcome back here to my channel where I play Planet Zoo. My name is Nessa and today I built this for both the red-necked wallaby, also called the Bennett's wallaby, the emu and the red kangaroo I also threw in there. I don't know what my inspiration was today, I just wanted to build this, and if you want to see how or just learn about some of these animals, probably won't have time to go through all of them, but I will try to at least get two new ones. Please keep watching. And first of all, guys, I just want to mention, I think I still have the plant glitching light thing going on here. It doesn't seem visible in the speed build, however, I haven't built or recorded the cinematics yet, so it might appear there. Just a fair warning if you are really sensitive for flashing lights. It's not a lot, it's not the entire screen or anything like that, it's just some of the foliage that does it, and I just can't figure out why. So yeah, it's just fair warning if you're really sensitive. Though my mom have epilepsy and she didn't have any issues with it, so yeah. But I know we're not all the same amount of sensitive, so it is possible that it might be an issue for some, so here you are warned. And today we, as I mentioned earlier, built for the emu, red-necked wallaby and the red kangaroo. And I had a few different ideas. One was that I wanted to reuse this building for the 9-band armadillo, so we can use that again. Again, it's something zoos often do. This also makes sure that you can feed all of the animals in here without actually having to walk outside with the food. Risk of dropping it, or just a risk of walking into people with it. Basically, so that's just a little more comfortable both for the keeper and the guest. Now we are having a lot of animals in here though, so therefore we have to make sure the habitat is big enough. So first here, of course, I make a barrier, but I'm not gonna finish it completely. I got a closed loop, but it's not done yet. As you can see here, I put in the animal and then I click on an animal to see how much I need more. Which it's still orange, so I pull it even further and look at the animal, and now it's green, so it works. You can only do this if you turn off escape, because otherwise all of the animals will just run in all of the directions at once, and we really don't want that. I also had a few ideas of what I really wanted to build with it, and I wanted one place where you could get a good view of the entire thing. Maybe also somewhere where you eat your lunch or so and just sit and relax a little bit further away from the rest of the zoo. So that would be the viewpoint from here, and I decided only to have the one, so I needed to keep in mind where it was in a way where I can always see it from all of the zoo. I can't cover it with anything because then the guests can't see anything. So that was my biggest, I wouldn't call it an issue because it was quite easy to do, but it's just a thing. If you want it built that way, you need to keep it in mind while building, and it will be on the corner away from the rest of the zoo. But let's talk a little bit about the emu. I will also get some information on the red-necked wallaby. However, I do not believe I have the time to also go over the red kangaroo. However, I just made a speed build for them in my last zoo called Nubaya Zoo. Sorry, I already forgot that. So if you want to learn more about the red kangaroo, I do recommend you watching that video. But the emu. First question. Ostrich, emu. Emu, ostrich. I couldn't tell the difference when I was a child, so my dad told me the neck is the difference. I know there's a few more differences, but this is the easy one. For the emu, the neck is a extensions of the body. So the body is this kind of oval shape, and it's just an extension going out further than the body, and then the neck spins and goes upward. Where on an ostrich, the neck is placed on top of the body and go straight upwards. That's the easiest way to tell them apart. And I don't believe I'm the only one having this issue, especially for kids, but also some adults may have the issue. So I went in and researched the different classifications. Of course, they are both living in the animal kingdom. And I started with the genus, which is normally the closest related animals out there. And this is a group of emus. Not only the emu, which is the emu we have here, but we also have the Tasmanian emu, the King Island emu, and the Kangaroo Island emu. And if you think, I never heard of those, then you're probably right, because all these three subspecies of emus are already extinct, making the normal emu we have here the only living individual from these genus. So I went a little back up the line and up to family, and the family include 8 individual species called Casuaridae. And with that, you probably imagine what we have in here. Of course, we still have the normal emu and the 3 extinct emus, but the rest of them are all casuaries. We have the northern, the southern, the dwarf, and the Casuarius lidiceri, which I also think is, it's also extinct. So much closer to the casuary than we are to the ostrich once again. But I still wanted to know how far away related the ostrich and the emu is. Sorry. So I went back up, and they are not in the same genus or family, as I said, and neither are they in the same order. However, they are in the same class called Avis. Avis is the 3rd class. The only 2 classes we have above is phylum and kingdom. And kingdom is, of course, Animalia, so I don't really think that counts. So, in this class, Avis, we have 10,360 species. That means the emu have 10,359 species. That is as close related to them as the ostrich. This include chickens, bald eagles, happy eagles, shoebill, house sparrow, and the list go on. Mallard duck, we know, the budget redgar. Don't remember how to pronounce that. Emperor penguin. So they aren't any closer than all of these, and that's kind of amazing. Or not, I'm not sure amazing is the right word, but it tells a lot, even though I think a lot of people like me actually assumed they would be much closer. Anyway, the emu is of course this giant flightless bird, and the only bird bigger than this or higher than this is the specification here is of course the ostrich. This means that it have this means they have a height of 150 to 190 centimeters. That will be roughly between 4.9 inch to 6 inch, I guess. And they weigh between 18 and 60 kilos, being 36 and 120 kilo. They have a max speed of 50 kilometers per hour, and just to give you something to think about, a scooter or a tractor are legally allowed to drive 30 kilometers per hour in Denmark anyway. They do of course live in Australia, and they mainly live in the anthropogenic grassland, savanna, scrubland, woodland, and forest biome, which covers a big part of Australia, to be honest. They stay within both the tropical, arid, and temperate climate zone, and honestly, I'm not sure if they even have more on Australia. And if you ask me, the emu is actually more clever than I ever give it credit for. It is a solitary creature by nature, but if it has some advantages to the emu, it will of course accept and exhibit social behavior towards other emus. This could, for instance, be sharing a nest or searching for food, and they will even group up in larger groups and migrate together with other emus that may know a better place than you know to migrate to, where they will find a lot of food. But normally, as I said, they are solitary creatures, and they will normally have a home range of 5 to 10 square kilometers per individual. But again, since they migrate, this home range will move from place to place, so they don't have one area through the year, but just move when they need to. However, when it is egg laying season, especially the females do not migrate. They do not sleep for longer periods of time, especially because they live on their own. So, like other animals that live in groups, someone will always be awake to keep an eye out. When you are alone, you kind of need to do that for yourself. However, on the other hand, they also are very, very playful animals, and therefore they will play around and show this kind of playful behavior, not only towards other emus, but also towards other species of animals. Of course, not predators, but it could be a wombat, it could be a koala or a kangaroo. Who knows? Emus are omnivores, meaning they both eat animal-based products and crops. This includes seeds, flowers, fruit, and tender roots. The meat part is more during the summer, where there is a high amount of insects, especially caterpillars, beetles, and grasshoppers, so they will eat more of them in those periods of time. Emus also have a very unique mating system, and I'm partially a fan of it because I like the idea. But they are polyamorous, meaning that they can have multiple partners. For many animals out there, the male have multiple partners, but not the female. Well, here she allows a male to be around, and he will stay around for about 5 months so they can get ready for the babies. They can build a nest, they can make everything comfortable, they can impregnate the female, and then she lays the egg, and then she gets pissed off and aggressive, especially towards the male, but also towards every emu out there. And then she will just pack her things and leave, leaving the taking care of the baby part to daddy. Again, I don't think you should leave your kids, but I kind of like the idea of, for once, it's the female doing this, where it's normally a male thing to do in the animal kingdom. And of course, therefore, the babies will stay with the daddy, then the eggs then they will hatch after about 8 weeks, and 5 to 8 months after that, they will leave the dad also to find their own way in life. The daddy will be left with 5 to 15 eggs to take care of on his own. But yeah, they are competent, strong, dedicated daddies. But as I already mentioned, we already have 3 island emus that are extinct. And this is because when they arrived, settlers from Europe, they started hunting these beautiful creatures, both from oil, meat, and even collected their eggs. This was the result, or the reason behind, sorry, I can't talk today, all 3 extinctions in event. However, today we have a estimated population size of the emus between 630,000 individuals to 725,000 mature individuals. So therefore, they are thriving, and according to the IUCN Red List, they are at least concerned animal. That doesn't mean it can't change, but as things is now, we at least shouldn't be afraid to lose all kinds of emus. But now let's talk a little bit about the redneck wallaby, which is also called the Bennett's wallaby. I have talked about them before on my channel under the name Bennett's wallaby because that's what the mud was called. It is the same wallaby, just to clarify it. Just another name for it. It also bears the names of brush wallaby, eastern brush wallaby, brush kangaroo, and Prussia red wallaby. So it have a lot of different names. It is in the what's it called, in frog class of Marsupialia, which is of course marsupials. The same are kangaroos, wombat, numbat, wallabies, and so on. The kangaroo and the wallaby also have the same. Sorry, I just did something wrong here. Also have the same order, which is the Protodontia, and the same family, which is Macropodidae. But the genus is different. The genus for the wallaby is Notamacropus, which is all of the wallabies. And the red kangaroo's genus is Osparanta, which is all of the kangaroos. So they are closely related, definitely much more than the emu and ostrich, but still split up in the genus, but family still. And now I will conflict a little bit with the information I got here. I will just read my information come from Animalia. I will leave link below for all three animals on Animalia, so you can go read for yourself if you want to. But according to Animalia, it's, and I'm gonna read up so you can hear it directly. Its name is due to the reddish fur on the shoulders and nape. The rest of the body is tawny gray, except for the white chest and belly. However, I will say that it's not completely white. It is a lighter color, but it's not white. The reddish color varies much. Some of them are very, very red. Some of them are just more like a reddish brown. And the tawny color they call here also varies a little bit for a grayish brown to a more yellowish brown. From what I have seen on pictures, I just wanted to tell you both so you can understand that it's, yeah, I say something different than the information here. They, like the emu, live in Australia, of course, but a much smaller area, though they are still living on some of the smaller islands of Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, New South Wales, and Queensland. It is on a small part of mainland Australia, but most to the on the western coastal side, a little bit on the bottom also. They live in forest, grassland, anthropogenic, agricultural, scrublands, and coastal areas. Even though coastal isn't what I would think of when I think wallaby, that is clearly what they prefer. And they stay within the temperate and tropical biome. Again, not what I picture when I think a wallaby, but that is what they prefer. A lot of wallaby species or subspecies are very social, but the Bennett's wallaby or red-necked wallaby we have here are much more solitary and will, for some of its life, live alone. However, if it finds a place with plenty of food, water, and shelter, it will be okay with sharing that area with other wallabies. When they meet up with these lush, festive areas and occasions, they will still build a hierarchy. So some will, of course, have more to say than others. And to make sure to get the right hierarchy, they will, kind of like we know with Kangaroo, do the boxing dance. And the winner will, of course, be the one who decides the most. Again, these hierarchies are only temporary, because when food runs a little more scarce, they will split up again and live solitary lives. These beautiful wallabies luckily don't have that many threats, and therefore at this point they are at least considered an animal according to the IUCN Red List. They aren't just okay to kill, but in on New Zealand and Tasmania, you can actually get a special license that allows you to kill them if they are a pest to your animals or your crops, if you are a farmer, for instance, and they take away your livelihood. Anyway, guys, I apologize. I don't know why I just can't speak today, but apparently I can't. Hopefully I do better next time. And oh, enjoy the cinematics. I will come back afterwards. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you today. I really hope you enjoyed it. And as always, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications so you know the next time I upload a video. Really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye, guys.